my channel. I'm Zoya Day, licensed esthetician, and this is Day's Beauty Room, your #1 source for professional skincare advice, product knowledge, and esthetician tips. Thank you guys so much for tuning into my video. And in today's video, we're going to be going over how I would perform one of my at-home facials on myself. Now, this is definitely going to be a little different from what I would do in the treatment room, but I'll go over that a little more as we go through the video. But before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button, notification bell, and let's get into it. This video is also going to be a bit of an update of where I've been, because I did go missing for a little bit off of social media. So as we wait for the steamer to kick on, let's talk a little bit about my skin type. So I'm a bit on the combination drier side. I get really dry along my jawline and like right in my cheek area. That's also where I'll deal with the most like discoloration around my mouth and jawline. So those are pretty much like my problem areas. I don't really break out too much per se, other than like the occasional hormonal acne right before your cycle, but nothing crazy. So our steamer has officially kicked on. So now what we are going to do is start the first step, and it's going to be removing our makeup. So I'm going to go ahead and take off my glasses. If I seem to be like I'm squinting or like struggling to see, it's because I am. I'm like blind. I can't see myself in the viewfinder right now, so sorry about that. So I'm just gonna go in with my headband. And this is just going to help keep away my little baby hairs. One thing about me is I'm really anal about like having hair in my face. Either when I'm doing a facial on a client or doing a facial on myself, I don't like it. It bothers me. So I'm going to sit under the steamer. Now, all of the tools that I'm going to mention in the video have been previously mentioned in my Amazon favorite skincare tools, and I'll make sure to link that somewhere below or somewhere in the video. So now I don't know if I mentioned my steamer, but I'll show you what it looks like. So it's a little personal tabletop steamer. So I'm just gonna sit this. Now it doesn't need to be super duper close to my face. Like you don't need the nozzle to be directly on the face, because sometimes that can cause a little bit more of irritation, especially if you have sensitive skin. Outside of facials having amazing benefits for the skin, I also think they're really, really great for relaxation and just de-stressing. I haven't been doing them as often as I like to, but I love doing at-home facials as like a self-care on like self-care Sundays or whenever I need to de-stress just a little bit. Put on some relaxing music, whatever you feel, and just relax. Now, before you get started with the facial and touching your face and all of that, you want to make sure you wash your hands. So I did wash my hands prior to this. Now, as we let the steam hit our face, I'm going to go ahead and go in with my pre-cleanse. Now, so you're going to do at least 2 pumps, and you're going to warm it up in your hands very nicely. And then just place it on your forehead, cheek area, and chin. Make sure you have a good amount. And I do have a little bit of makeup on, so I'm going to use the oil cleanser to remove some of that. Now you want to do soft circular motions across the face. Now you can do this for up to 10 to 15, even 20 minutes. It really just depends on you. Now, the longer you do it, the more chances you have of pulling what are called oil plugs from the skin. And that's exactly what they sound like. It's just little plugs of sebum that are in the pores. And using the steam will definitely help open your pores, even though technically pores don't open and close. But that's for another video. I'm going with a little more just to make sure I get off my brow makeup. That's where the most of my makeup is. And then if I was doing a facial on a client, I'm definitely not afraid to use more pre-cleanse and stuff, because 9 times out of 10 clients, even though you recommend them not to come in with makeup, they definitely will sometimes have a little bit of makeup on, or sometimes they'll come in for like work or something prior and needed a full face of makeup. So been a good 10 minutes. So now I'm gonna go in and just remove the oil cleanser. So I'm gonna turn my steamer up so it's not blowing in my face anymore. And I have my bowl here of warm water. In a normal facial, I would use like a warm towel to remove the oil cleanser, but I don't have any of these towels that I would necessarily use in a facial. So we're just gonna go in with our sponges very gently around the eye area to make sure we remove the eye makeup. So I'm officially makeup free. Right? And so in most facials or even skincare routines, double cleansing has become really big. So I'm going to go in with my Skin Script Green Tea Citrus Cleanser. And I'm gonna go in with a small amount, maybe like a dime size amount. And I'll put the steam back on my face. So when I'm working this, it's really getting off any extra makeup on my skin that I might have left behind. And it's also gonna help break down some of the extra oil. So I'm gonna dip my hand in my water, and just like we applied the oil cleanser, we're going to apply the green tea cleanser on our cheeks, our jawline, a little under our neck, and we're just going to gently rub and massage all over the skin. So how have you guys been? What have you guys been up to? I know the world is kind of in the middle of, what would we call this? Would it be considered a revolution? I don't know. We're in the middle of a movement. We'll say that. And I believe this is a huge movement, a huge moment in history. And I am in full support because what has been going on is just atrocious. It's ridiculous, and Black people should not have to live in fear just doing simple things like living or being asleep in your apartment, you know, because they still haven't gotten Breonna Taylor's killers. Like, it's just so upsetting. And that's one of the reasons why I did take a little step back. I needed a break off of social media and off of like all of the craziness, because it was just making me so upset. And this time has definitely exposed, you know, who was with you and who was not. And not to jump off subject, but back to the facial. So if you know anything about LA Beautyologist and, you know, one of my recent videos talking about how to cleanse your skin and how you're supposed to cleanse for about 60 seconds, I highly recommend it. And I definitely know esthetician, like, part of facials, part of the cleansing process is, you know, it's supposed to be longer than a minute. So that practice has always been around. You just start to get a lot of home use, which is so smart. So shout out to LA Beautyologist for that. Alright, so we've been cleansing for about a good minute. So I'm gonna go in with my sponges. Now, I'm gonna use the same sponges throughout the whole facial. You definitely don't have to if you don't want to. Like I said, if you're gonna be using maybe like a warm towel, you can have a few on hand. And we're gonna do the same thing. Now I'm gonna keep the steam on just so that the product doesn't get like sticky on my skin and make it hard to remove. So I'm just gonna start with the outside, the forehead, and get all around, making sure you get all of the product. And another reason I did kind of step away was because I did recently lose my grandmother on Memorial Day, and it kind of hit me hard because she was sick, you know, for a minute, and we thought we were at least going to be able to say our goodbyes. She was in Wisconsin and I'm in Texas, if you don't already know, and so it kind of threw me off when it happened. But she's in a better place and she's no longer, you know, uncomfortable or in pain. Now we're going to go into the exfoliation part of the facial. And if you've seen my how to exfoliate video, I talk about the different forms of exfoliation. So in this one, we are going to be doing chemical exfoliation, but I'm going to go in with a little silicone scrubber to help me. So I'm going to go ahead and wet it in a little extra water bowl here, and then I'm going to do the same amount as we did the first one. Actually, I'm going to wet my face just a little more. So I'm going to go in, just wet my face a tad bit. And now I'm still gonna use the steam since I'm in the cleansing process. If you have more sensitive skin, I definitely wouldn't do this like in a service, but I know my skin is so this really isn't doing much to me. And this is a glycolic exfoliating cleanser. So it's gonna be really good at removing any dead skin. And the steam is just gonna really help and assist with that. And using the scrubber is going to really make sure it works its way into my skin. Alright, so now that we have nicely exfoliated the skin, we're going to go in and remove it with our skin scrubber. Now I'm definitely going to turn off the steam. This is definitely mentioned in my skincare tools, my favorite skincare tools video. So I'm going to be looking at my mirror here. Usually they come with 3 different settings. We're going to be doing the cleansing setting. Now I'm going to go in, turn it on. It's going to beep. And then now you're going to choose your setting. So I'm going to do obviously cleansing. And you're going to feel it's going to have a little vibration movement. And you just want to go up, just kind of follow the contour of your face. And then you're going to make sure you're wiping it off also. Make sure you get all that product off of it. You get in the corners of your nose. Now that we have finished the exfoliating part of the facial, I'm going to go in and do a few extractions off camera, only because I do not recommend picking at your skin or doing extractions at home on yourself. I definitely recommend seeking a licensed professional. So now that I've done extractions and a little bit of hair removal, I'm going to go in and nourish and hydrate my skin. So now I'm going to go in with the Skin Script Clarifying Toner solution. So now this is just the solution. Normally it would come in a container like this. This is actually just the sample size. Now I'm just going to go in with the solution and all across my face. It is going to sting just a smidget, especially after everything that we've been doing. Now if you have sensitive skin, I definitely would not recommend using this. You can use something more hydrating like rose water to kind of help add back in that moisture. Now that we've done that, I'm gonna go in with my high frequency machine. Now this is gonna be good to get off any bacteria that may be on the skin. We did just do some extractions, so I'm gonna go in and make sure that there's no like underlying bacteria within them. This is also really great to use for anti-aging and acne clients. And also a fun little tip for estheticians, this is a great tool to use after like a Brazilian or like an underarm or even facial waxing service, because it'll help seal off the pores and remove any extra bacteria on the skin and calm down any redness or histamine reaction on the skin. So I'm going to turn it up to about, we'll do 2, nothing crazy. And I don't know if you can see, it'll kind of create an orange light. You kind of place it on the skin. But we're gonna go in with a cotton. You can either go in with a 4x4 or a gauze or anything like that. Turn it off actually really quick and just wrap this around. Now this is just so it glides a lot easier on my skin. It doesn't have to be perfect as long as it holds. So what you're gonna do is turn it back on, round your finger on it, and place it on your skin. Release your finger and just move it around. Now I want to be really hitting the places that I extracted on. Now if your client has any type of like pacemakers or underlying like heart or issues, you definitely don't want to use this on them, just because it can cause a few issues. Now If there's a certain place on your skin you want to zap, like I have a few little breakouts, I'm gonna zap. Now that we have finished with our high frequency, we're going to go into the mask portion of the facial. If I was working on a client, I would use more of a cream, nourishing, or clay mask depending on what they needed for their skin. But at home, I like to use sheet masks for a lot of hydration. And now I'm going to go in with face mask next. Okay, now that we have our mask and stuff on, I'm gonna go in with our ice roller and just go all over my face like so. And this is really gonna help calm the skin, especially if your clients have sensitive skin. This is also great to use like after like chemical peels. And also I love using this for when I get like really bad migraines, and this just really helps relieve some of the tension in my head. All right, so now that we have done our face mask, and I also did a little bit of a lip scrub and exfoliating lip brush off camera on my lips. Now I'm just gonna go in with my Image Organic Skincare Stone Crop Hydrating Mist. I've actually been loving this mist, and I'm just gonna put it on a cotton round to make sure I get it on all of my skin. So this is really good for hydration, evening out your skin tone, and then it's also super refreshing on the skin. Oops, a little bit more. I do go in and add a little more around my lips and mouth area, just because that is where I kind of get the most darkness or the most hyperpigmentation at. Now I'm gonna go in with my, now this probably isn't like an esthetician's favorite, but I wanted to really try it, and that is the Palmer's Cocoa Butter Formula with Vitamin E Skin Therapy Oil. So I'm just gonna go in. It's really lightweight, so I put it on right after that hydrating mist, and I just do a little amount, and then put it in my hands and work it around my face. Get around. And I'll actually just go in with my Rose Quartz J Roller and just kind of work it into my face. It is kind of cold. I did have it sitting in the refrigerator, so it's nice and cold for the skin, and you just want to work this. Now this is great for lymphatic drainage, for working products into the skin. I really love it for that purpose. It's also good at relaxing the muscles within the face, especially around like the crow's feet and forehead area. Now I'm just gonna go in with my Burt's Bees lip treatment, and it's actually almost done. I actually really like this stuff. I think lip care is a big part of self care and skincare. But right now I'm just gonna go in with my Skin Script Hydrating Cucumber Toner. I'm just gonna shake it up and just spritz all over my skin. I'm gonna let that sit in the skin, and it really sets in the skin fairly quick, and it leaves you really hydrated, which is what I love. Because like I said, my skin is a little bit more on the combination drier side sometimes. Now I'm just going to go in with the Skin Script Hydrating Moisturizer. I'm just going to do a small little pump of that, working into the hands, and upwards motion like we have been applying all of our other creams, products, and cleansers. Right now I'm gonna do the very last step, and that's just going in with some hand lotion because my hands are usually pretty dry after a facial. And this is just the EOS Shea Butter hand cream. It's coconut scented and actually smells really good. All right, my beauties, that is the end of our facial. If you want to know more about the tools that were used during our facial, make sure you check out my favorite Amazon tool video. I'll make sure to link it in the description box below. If you haven't already, don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I actually recently just hosted a giveaway to win a free lunch on me. So if you participated, thank you so much. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and we'll see you in my next video.